27th of this year, so just last week, um, Abdul Habrera of the Philadelphia Phillies, he's their left fielder, was taken into custody out of the Golden Nugget Hotel in Atlantic City. The story was his girlfriend contacted authorities after he had assaulted her. There was, when the authorities found her, there was handprints all around her neck and also scratches from her hand all the way to her forearm on both arms. And immediately the MLB put Herrera on a 7-day paid suspension while they work with the Phillies and try to figure out more information on the situation. Um, Again, here we are with domestic violence taking the center stage in athletic events. And we're getting to the point where it's almost just commonplace and it's almost, we're growing numb to this. And I think that's a very big problem going forward, not just for sports, but as a bigger picture. I mean, take it outside of sports into society. Um, I mean, he's put on paid suspension. I feel like right away, I mean, if you're being investigated for assault, and he was convicted of assault, so why is he getting paid for this? Why he's on suspension? I mean, at least for these 7 days, he can go without pay for a week. Um, and also another thing, when I was researching this, I ran into a lot of trouble just finding information on this outside of Philadelphia sports outlets. And even then, when I was researching it, it was almost more just, oh, what are the Phillies going to do to keep winning ball games moving forward? I mean, they were talking about how they have to put in Andrew McCutchen now, and it was almost just more of, well, how is the ball? I mean, how are we going to move forward? How are we going to win baseball games moving forward? And it wasn't even as much about Herrera himself and his actions. And I think that is almost representative of the collective way that sports leagues view this issue. It's kind of a brush it under the rug issue at the moment. And I mean, this is not even getting national attention as much as something like this should. I mean, we saw Kareem Hunt's situation just blow up in the Kansas City Chiefs' face. And I think the Phillies are on top of it, trying to not let it get to that point. And that's going to, I mean, the teams themselves, who these athletes play for, and the leagues are trying to work together to just brush this stuff under the rug because it is causing too many problems. And I mean, I get it, it's bad for their image, and even the athletes are just allowed to come back pretty soon. I mean, we're already hearing stuff about how Kareem Hunt's probably going to get signed. And I mean, these guys play, I mean, they pay a little price, and then they can come right back and play pretty soon afterwards. And it's really, I don't know if they learn much other than that probably didn't help my personal image. But besides that, I don't know what they're learning if they're allowed to come back without having proved that they learned from their actions. That was a bad thing. It cannot happen again, and they should really prove that they have learned something other than just serving a little suspension. I mean, Herrera's case, this could be a week, and then it's nothing. He'll be plugged right back into the lineup, and really no one has been talking about it. I did not even remember this being big news. And the Phillies are good this year. The Phillies are, I mean, they have Bryce Harper. They're a big team. It's not like it's a small market or anything. And they're just, let's get rid of this. Let's brush it under the rug. We don't want this to blow up in our faces. And that is not the right attitude to be having here. It's the leagues themselves and the teams and the fans, for that matter. Fans sometimes are the biggest offenders of this. They kind of just, or they're good players. We don't want to have them suspended for too long. I mean, we should be looking at this as, when this type of stuff happens, this is a learning experience. And these athletes cannot have any extra special attention just because they can play a game well. I mean, just because we're entertained by what they do doesn't mean they don't have to act like the rest of us and have to abide by laws. I mean, the only league right now that has policies, official policies in place for domestic violence, child abuse, any type that covers all the abuses is the NHL. NFL MLB and the NBA don't even have official policies and all this. This is all just kind of PR moves at this point. I mean, there has to be more harsher penalties, and also just, I mean, there has to be a different mindset for this. We cannot be thinking of it as let's sweep it under the rug real quick, so let's get this to go away as quick as possible. That is not the way we should go about this. You take these experiences and you actually help the athletes learn, and they have to, sometimes they have to get help. I mean, these these are athletes. You see it a lot with football players. I mean, a lot of them are just angry people a lot of the time, and this is not helping matters. Just telling them, just it's all right. Just spend a few games away, and then you can come back. And then, I mean, these guys are all still making so much money. So I mean, especially with Herrera, I don't understand why they put him on paid suspension. But I just really wanted to draw attention to this mindset that, I mean, with the more domestic violence cases that we see, I think this mindset is becoming more and more in place, and I think that's bad. We cannot keep trying to avoid the issue the more it happens. I mean, that's just not the way anything in life should work. So I think it's up to the managers involved on every level of sport. This has to start at the amateur level too. This can't just be professionals under the microscope. College players, high school players, any person who plays sports should not be hurting anyone else. And it's just the laws of society. They should have to function as any other type of citizen. And I mean, if you go to your job and you're arrested for assault, there's a very good chance that you're going to be fired and never allowed to come back. So I mean, that's how it should be for these athletes. There's members of society as well, and they should have to act like it.